Hey folks, I'm going to do a bit of an unboxing for Dark Ages, Kickstarter game that's just now getting delivered, at least in the States. I think it was delivered elsewhere um, at other times, but it just got to me the other day. I went all in. There are essentially two base boxes, if you want to call them. They each play 1 to 4 players, or you combine both of them together. Both of their mats or their boards or mats will actually go together, and you could play or you can play 5 to 8 with both boxes. Basically, it's essentially a dudes on a map game. You're going to be trying to increase your civilization, prosper, conquer things, get your economy going, that type of thing. It's an action selection the type of system with you determining which action you're going to take each game or each turn. There is no set of turns, so it's not like there are rounds. There's basically just a turn, whoever the active player is takes their turn, and then it moves on counterclockwise. There are a couple, I think there are 4 or 5 different game ending conditions. I'm not going to really get into a rules overview or anything at the moment. I will be probably playing a game of this later today, so that should be up in a bit as well, probably tomorrow at some point. But anyways, I got my box. I unpacked everything, so I went in with the Paladin sleeves. It came with enough sleeves to essentially sleeve both boxes, or you could have gotten just the sleeves to sleeve one box. It came with a full pack of the Galahads, which is 55 sleeves, and I think you will use at most 12 of these, so you're going to have almost a full pack of Galahads left over. In my opinion, Paladin sleeves are the best sleeves you can buy, and it's always good to see a Kickstarter use them versus some other cheap brand or knockoff that is just going to rip. I got the quote-unquote realistic resources. This little box here came with the metal coins, nice and shiny, gold. I figured a 1 set would be enough, but we will find out. I don't want to put those back in there. This game is by Board and Dice, by the way. Then I got the individual resource pack, which is going to look familiar for a lot of the resources because they are similar to other games. We have your stone. We have your little metal bars, or iron bars, I guess. We have your wood, which looks basically exactly like the ones for Psy. And then we have your leather, which are actually plastic, interestingly enough. I guess it would have been cool if they were actually little bits of leather, but I don't know. Maybe they thought that wasn't going to last. Who knows? Then we have 2 mats. This is the one that we'll be playing today. We're going to play Heritage of Charlemagne. The other base box is called the Holy Roman Empire. If I can get this out of the tube, or the plastic rather. Just rip it. I'll rubber band it. So here is one of the mats. You got your victory point track all around the outside. You have your different regions, your provinces, that make up regions, etc. These gray areas, I don't believe can be well, they can be controlled, but they're not starting provinces. They don't belong to anything, basically. So then on the other side is, if you were to bring the 2 mats together, you'll notice the victory point tracker stops on this side, and you would push both mats together and have one gigantic map to play, 5 to 8 players on. But we will leave it we'll get it flipped around this way. For right now. Then we have, this is the Holy Roman Empire box. It is still in shrink. I've not opened it yet because we're not going to play this one. We're going to play the other one. But it is basically the same thing with different commanders and leaders and provinces, different mat, but basically all the bits are the same. All your workshops are the same. All your cities are the same. All your infantry and your cavalry and your archers, they're all the same. The cards are probably slightly different, maybe with different artwork. I'm not sure yet, but I don't think there's much difference. They basically built the game to be both boxes and then said, okay, that's probably a little too big. Let's cut it down in half. And we'll have 2 base boxes, and you can play 1 to 4 with each. I guess you could play, this says actually that you could play 1 to 8 players with both maps, but that would be a little ridiculous to play a single player game with both maps. Alright, so let's get this out of the way, and then we'll dive into the Heritage of Charlemagne box that is already shrinked, unshrinked, sleeved, and organized. So, got a nice rulebook here. It is roughly 47 pages, yes. There are a bunch of modules. So this game comes with essentially the base game, and then there are, at least for this one, there are 14 different modules that you can add in to add some variety. So basically your real rules will end on about page 25, and then that's when the modules start. There is solo play with it, etc. But it's I've read through the rules. They're pretty decent. I've watched a couple playthroughs as well. It seems like it's a lot to take in at first, but I don't think it's going to be too terrible. There are a few rules that are going to be difficult to remember because they're sort of caveats of, you normally, for if you're going to do this action, you're going to pay a coin for it, unless you do this one specific subset action, then you don't have to pay a coin. Those are probably going to be a little cumbersome to remember, but so here are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Galahad size sleeve cards. These are the action cards. Essentially, you can build, you can maneuver, you can develop culture, you can research, or you can recruit. So they gave you a whole pack of sleeves for just 5 cards. Again, I'm not complaining. I think that's great, especially since they are paladin sleeves. So then we have 2 inserts. You'll see that this insert holds the miniatures, and I'll bring a couple of them over here. So you can kind of see them a little bit. Hopefully it'll focus some. Oh, come on, focus. It kind of started to. If I hold it up from the bottom. No? Yeah. I don't know what's up with my camera. See if I can manually focus. That's better. Somewhat, fairly detailed. It's a hard plastic. They're not soft or anything of that nature. Decent. I think these are the commanders. I think there's a special module for these guys, so they're not actually in the base game. And then we have all our little bits and pieces here. I'll get a couple of these out. So here are essentially your farms. I mean, that's nothing spectacular. It's just to mark your farm. It's going to go out on the board. Let's get some of the infantry and cavalry and such out here. Here we got some Cav. Not too terrible. And do some infantry. The swords are all pretty much curved like that. I don't believe they're meant to be. I think it's just how, when the plastic dried and hardened, they just curled a little bit. Alright, let's go back over here. So this is basically all the plastic bits. There's going to be 4-player colors. There's going to be bits for the barbarians. There's going to be bits for, I'm trying to remember the term they use, but they're basically generic, like neutral units that you may get to participate on your behalf in a battle. And they're basically separate from your player color because they don't stick with you. So like if you have a battle in a province where you have a keep, you get, I think it's an archer, you get an extra archer. Well, you'll get one of the gray nondescript archers because that archer will actually go away after the battle rather than like join your army force that you can move around the board. Their cities are in here. I guess we could take this out. This is a terrible design for a insert. It's terrible. That's the only way to describe it. You have nice big cities here. They're going to go out on the board. You're going to place your workshops and churches and such around them. Each city will be able to support basically 3 buildings, and but only 1 church. Yeah, this would have been, I mean, it's a giant open area, but it's just not, it's not very good. It does have a top, but it doesn't lock in. It just sits there, and the plastic just pushes it out. So, very bad design. Next is the card tray, which, if you're wondering and you're asking yourself, no, it does not fit the sleeved cards. Or if it does, it's just barely. They're above the slots there. I'll put these in here, and there's not enough. Like, these are mixed resources, these are mixed things, and there's mixed things in here, so it's not like there's a compartment for each single set of tokens, which is disappointing. The dice are okay, I suppose. You know, nothing special. There's a D20, and other than that, they're just 6-sided dice with pips. One for, I think the blue dice, it's basically for your infantry, archery, and or infantry, archers, and cavalry is what they roll, and just to determine which dice belongs to which enemy unit. And the D20 comes into play with one of the modules. I'm not sure which one. Then we have some wooden bits here to track various things. I'm assuming victory points and whatnot. Again, not a very good design for an insert because, as you saw, the sleeve just moved there. They don't stick in. They don't stay in place. It's too shallow to hold sleeved cards. So what I'll probably have to end up doing, maybe getting a rubber band, putting around the sleeved cards. And then we have the wooden board. Oh, I have a token under there. Where did that token come from? So first thing we have here is the, I forget what they call this, the culture board, maybe. The action selection board. Your actions are going to randomly go up here at the beginning of the game, and they're going to be in a random order, and that's what they are for the rest of the game. You'll have your churches over here. Once guys go out of, get pushed out of the action selection here, they're going to go over here, or you can put them over here. This is going to be your research line, essentially, where you can pull different cards into your hand and then play them, and then your draw deck and your discard deck. And then on the other side is if you were playing with both boxes, This goes on to the end of the other track, and it extends the research by 4 more cards, etc. And you have more churches to go through because you're playing with more players, etc., etc. Then we have the player boards, which are exactly the same for everybody. It's a nice little player reference here. It's going to have all your farms at the top. It'll tell you what you can do with the farms. It tells you about all the actions you can take, what you can build, what they will do, what they cost. Has your armies down at the bottom, which everybody starts at level 1 of everything essentially. At least with the base board, when you choose your faction, your leader will come with 2 additional cards. One of them may replace one of the infantry or one of the army units. Others may be upgrades that go above your tableau there. There's sections to track where your barbarians go that you defeat, or if you're playing with the skirmisher model or module, warehouse, etc. The back is just a picture of the box cover. I like the player boards. Give you enough information. And then the last thing in here is just the cardboard version of the board. The mat is surprisingly crisp and clear. It is not stitched, so I don't know how well it's going to hold up over time, but they usually hold up pretty well. What is this token in here? Oh, that goes under there. Oh, there's a hole there. That's how it slid out. Okay. But that is Dark Ages. The other box is going to be, this is Heritage of Charlemagne. The other box is going to be very similar, different cards, etc. Not a big fan of the insert. I got to figure out a better way to organize all that stuff. They don't really give you very many options. They don't explain, the rulebook doesn't explain, there's not a reference sheet that shows you, here's how we suggest you store everything, that type of stuff. I wish more companies would do that. Why they don't, I'm not sure. There are a bunch of cards. So if we slide back over here, slide these cards back over, basically a few of the cards on this stack, and then these 2 stacks are the base. Yeah, these 2 stacks are the base set, and then a few cards off the top of here, and then both of these stacks are all the modules, the 14 different modules. Some of them have there's a module in here that has a single card, so some of them have like 20 or 30 cards, some of them have 5, some of them have 10. They add just a little bit here and there. We're probably just going to play with the base game to get our feet wet, and then see what we feel we could add here and there. But yeah, that's Dark Ages. Probably to be doing a playthrough of it here in 3 or 4 hours, I would say. Not a playthrough, but a actual game of it, which I will record and put up probably tomorrow at some point. Until then, thanks for watching.